Lecture number 2 includes the contents in tegumentary system of vertebrates, the skin of jawless fishes, the skin of cartilaginous fishes, the skin of bony fishes, and the skin of amphibians. Vertebrates are classified into 5 groups: fish, amphibians, reptile, birds, and mammals. In general, skin is the vertebrate integument. It is the largest organ with respect to surface area of vertebrate body and grows with the animal. Layers of skin. Vertebrate skin has two main layers, epidermis and dermis. Epidermis is the outermost layer of epithelial tissue and is 1 to several cells thick. Dermis is thicker layer of connective tissue beneath the epidermis. Apart from epidermis and dermis, vertebrate skin has another layer which is named as hypodermis. Hypo means below, hypo and dermis means skin. So hypodermis is the layer which is present below dermis. Hypodermis consists of loose connective tissue, adipose tissue, and nerve endings, and it separates skin from deeper tissues. Integumentary system of fish. Broadly, fish are classified into 3 groups: jawless fish, cartilaginous fish, and bony fish. And in this lecture, we will study integumentary system of fish in jawless fish, cartilaginous fish, and bony fish. This is a photo of a lamprey, and it is the photo of a hagfish, and they both of these fishes are jawless fishes. Jawless fishes have relatively thick skin. Several types of epidermal glandular cells are present. Some may secrete a protective cuticle. This diagram indicates the skin of an adult lamprey, and here you can see hypodermis, and hypodermis contain fat cells. On hypodermis, dermis layer is present, and above it a basement membrane is present, and on this basement membrane a multi-layered epidermis is present. This epidermis contains small mucus cells and large mucus cells which may secrete a protective cuticle for the fish, or they may produce other secretions. In hagfishes, multicellular slime glands produce large amount of mucus slime that covers the body surface. This slime protects animal from external parasites and has earned hagfishes the descriptive name slime eels. The skin of cartilaginous fishes. Cartilaginous fishes include shark, rays, and skates. Their skeleton contain cartilage, or their skeleton is made up of cartilage, so they are named as cartilaginous fishes. The skin of cartilaginous fishes, for example sharks, skin is multilayered and contains mucus and sensory cells. Dermis contain bone in the form of small placoid scales called denticles. Denticles contain blood vessels and nerves and are similar to vertebrate teeth. This is a photo of a dog fish shark, and it has the placoid scales. Shark skin contains tooth-like denticle that become exposed through loss of epidermal covering, and this skin is otherwise fish-like. As it is clear, or it is visible that this is the epidermis, and the denticle is exposed, or it projects out from the epidermis. Denticle is like vertebrate teeth because it has enamel and dentine. Cartilaginous fishes grow throughout life, so their skin area also increases. New denticles are produced to maintain enough of these protective structures at the skin surface. Like teeth, once denticles reach maturity, they do not grow, thus they continually wear down and are lost. Since denticles project above the surface of skin, they give cartilaginous fishes a sandpaper texture. The skin of bony fishes. Bony fishes are modern fishes, and their skeleton is made up of bone. Skin of bony fishes contains scales which are composed of dermal bone, so they are also named as dermal scales. A thin layer of dermal tissue overlaid by the superficial epidermis normally covers the scales. And as you have learned that in case of placoid scale, the placoid scale actually projects out from the epidermis. While in case of dermal scale, a thin layer of dermal tissue overlaid by the superficial epidermis normally covers the scales. This is a close-up of dermal scale present on a bony fish. The skin of bony fishes. The skin of a typical bony fish has overlapping scales. The scales are layers of collagenous fibers covered by a thin flexible layer of bone. So this is epidermis, and here these are the dermal scales. Because scales are not shed, they grow at the margins and over the lower surface of the fish. In many bony fishes, growth lines which are useful in determining the age of fish can often be detected. Counting the number of annuli rings on a scale provides the fish age, and the spacing between rings is proportional to the growth of fish. Scales get larger as the fish grows by adding to the outside edge. Because fish are cold-blooded and grow very little during winter, a thicker ring is formed, giving a year mark. Therefore, biologists can use scales to determine the age of many fish species. The placement of the winter rings on the scale is proportional to the total length of the fish. This diagram indicates the two annuli or two rings. This is ring number 1, and here this is ring number 2. So it means that this fish is 2 years old. This diagram indicates the 4 rings or 4 annuli. So it means that this fish is 4 years old. The skin of bony fishes function. The skin of bony fish perform various functions. The skin of bony fish is permeable, so it performs the function of respiration. The bony fish skin is permeable and functions in gas exchange, particularly in smaller fishes that have large skin surface area relative to body volume. The dermis is richly supplied with capillary beds to facilitate its use in respiration. The epidermis also contains mucus glands. Mucus production helps prevent bacterial and fungal infection, and it reduces friction as the fish swims. Some species have granular cells that secrete an irritating or an irritant to some species, like a poisonous alkaloid. So these fishes they secrete a poisonous alkaloid, which act as an irritant or which is poisonous to other fishes. Communication. The fish integument also has a role in communication. Many teleosts that live in deep aquatic habitats have photophores that facilitate species recognition or acts like lures and warning signals. As you know that in deep aquatic habitat, anaphylaxis is not present. So these fishes they have photophores which facilitate them in species recognition. In this is a photo of a lantern fish which is found in Red Sea. It has a light producing photophores along its ventral surface, means near belly, and a nasal light organ is also present, here. This is a nasal light organ that acts like a headlight. So this was all about integumentary system of fishes. Our next topic is integumentary system of amphibians, or the skin of amphibians. Amphibian skin also has two main layers like all vertebrates. One is epidermis and the other one is dermis. The epidermis is stratified, that it is composed of many layers. Dermis consists of mucus gland, serous gland, and pigmentation cells. This is the skin of amphibian. It is actually the diagram of a frog skin. The frog skin has stratified epidermis, as it is visible here. This epidermis is made up of many layers of cells, and several type of glands are present in the dermis. Like you see here, basal. These are mucus gland, serous gland. And notice the pigment layer in the upper part of the dermis. Here this is the pigment layer, and it gives color to the amphibians. Like frog is of green color, so this pigment layer gave green color to the skin. Phylogenetically, amphibians are transitional between aquatic and terrestrial vertebrates. The earliest amphibians were covered by dermal bone scales like their fish ancestors. Amphibians were the first vertebrates on land. The terrestrial environment or the land environment is different from the aquatic habitat or aquatic environment. So amphibians have to face some problems in the terrestrial environment. So these problems include desiccation, ultraviolet light, and physical abrasion, because in terrestrial environment, due to the presence of sunlight, the animal may become the skin of the animal may become dry, because it has the problem of desiccation, or it also suffer from the problems of UV light and physical abrasion. So what are the solutions to these problems? The first one is keratin. Keratin is a tough, impermeable protein that protects the skin in physically abrasive, rigorous terrestrial environment. During amphibian evolution, keratin production increased in the outer layer of skin cells. The increased keratin in the skin also protects the cells, especially their nuclear material, from UV light. Next is mucus gland. Mucus help prevents desiccation. Mucus keep the skin moist, thus it helps in gaseous exchange, and mucus makes the body slimy, which facilitates escape from predators. Poisonous glands. Some amphibians have poison glands in dermis, and it produces an unpleasant tasting or toxic fluid, so it acts as a predator deterrent. Sensory nerves. Sensory nerves penetrate the epidermis as free nerve endings. Interestingly, the warts of toads seem to be specialized sensory structures, since they contain many sensory cells. Summary of today's lecture. So in this lecture, we studied the integumentary system of vertebrates, and we found that vertebrate skin has two main layers, epidermis and dermis. The skin of jawless fishes is thick. They have thick skin, and they have epidermal glandular cells. The skin of cartilaginous fishes is multi-layered, and their dermis contain placoid scales. The skin of bony fish contain dermal scales. The skin of amphibian is stratified. They have stratified epidermis, and dermal glands are present, like mucus gland, serous gland, and pigmentation cells.